Also, it's very hard for me to explain this album because it's so emotional. Hey, what's up everyone? This is C Good. Thank you for joining in because I'm going to share with you my best albums of 2025. It's that time again where we all get to talk about our best or favorite albums of the year. It's going to give a toast for the end of the year. Have my iced coffee here. Cheers. Alright, so I'm going to mention and share 10 of my favorite, most listened to, enjoyable. These are the albums that I have resonated with, and this is going to be a ranking. 10 to my number one album of the year. And I know you may disagree with my list, but you know what? That's the beautiful thing about life. We're all different. We have different experiences, different characters. And if you would love to share your favorite albums for 2025, just feel free to comment below, because I'm sure there are albums that I never got to or I just never had the time to check out. And I definitely don't want to miss out on good music. And then most importantly, I just want to give a big shout out to all the bands this year for releasing new music, because y'all are the real heroes and making our lives a whole lot better. Alright, enough of me rambling. Let's get into it. Grab your snacks, drinks, sit back and relax, and hear my 10 best albums of 2025. Alright, so coming in number 10 is a band from upstate New York, and that is Blackbraid with their album Blackbraid 3. I'll be honest with you, Blackbraid 3 is better than Blackbraid 2 in my opinion, and this is some really good polished second, third wave black metal. This is Scandinavian black metal, native heritage. If you like those wilderness vibes with intense, ferocious tremolos and vocals, then you're gonna fucking love this album. And I feel like Blackbraid really showed off his talent, because those roars and growls were just fucking high and mighty, top notch. He fucking kicked ass. He killed it. Blackbraid 1 is always my favorite, but this one comes in second in his discography, and it's just a killer black metal album. Love everything about it. The interludes, the riffs, the blast beats. Just a fucking great black metal album to enjoy, and that is why it's at my number 10. Coming in at number 9 is a band from Germany, and that is Kraath with their self-titled album. I found this album and band on Bandcamp, but I feel like a lot of black metal bands on Bandcamp sound very similar, but this one stands out. It sounds killer, it sounds badass. I wouldn't say this is post-black metal, because the raw intensity and punk ethos it has into it, I'm going to consider this as a black metal band, but this is charged with fucking black metal riffs, outstanding atmospheric blast beats, and at times I do hear some post-metal, because I love bands like Russian Circles, Sanit, and another badass post-metal band called Set and Setting. And that kind of instrumentation reminds me of this band with those guitar leads with tremolos. Although it is similar to other black metal bands like Panopticon, but this is killer. I think it's a fantastic album. It just fucking lifts you up, and that is why it's in my number 9. Alright, coming in at number 8 is another black metal band from Denmark, and that is Afsky with their album, I may be butchering it because I don't know Danish, but it's called Faellesskab. I love this black metal band because no one else sounds like this band. I guess if you could refer to like Inquisition, then you're gonna fucking love this album, because this is just yearning with pain and like dreading sorrow, and the blast beats and tremolos are just fucking amazing, and his vocals are just like horrific, and I just love all the crunch guitar tones into this black metal project. When I first heard his album, it took me like a good week or two just to like fully understand what I'm really feeling and like how unique this album is. No one's gonna sound like this. I can't really compare another black metal band. I just love those dramatic, intense, cinematic black metal instrumentation. Spoilers, this is my number 1 black metal year. The next albums are not gonna be black metal, although I can't express how much I love this band, and that is why it's in my number 8. Coming in at number 7 from North Dakota is a band called Ghostbath with their album Rose Thorn Necklace. Yeah, I will admit this. I do enjoy post black metal more than black metal, and I think I just love the experimentation of black metal. They're going beyond the elements, sounding different, and this depressive black metal project is pretty outstanding with those post black metal elements. I do love how there's some like post rock in here. There are some great moments with very soothing guitar reverb leads in here that just makes it very calm and peaceful. Although it could definitely sound scary like a black metal album with eerie keyboards and different scary movie sounds. Although there's sometimes it does sound like some New Bermuda Deafheaven moments because there's some random things in here that are happening. And when I first heard it, I thought, okay, this is different. But then when I really got into this album, I'm like, yeah, this is a fucking kick-ass album. And that is why it's in my number 7. Coming in at number 6 is a band from San Francisco, California. And that is Deafheaven with their album Lonely People with Power. I've always enjoyed Deafheaven at the beginning when they kind of like blew up, I guess back in 2013. Although their 2015 album New Bermuda was my highlight when I first heard them. And it's crazy that there's a lot of haters that hate this band because they have shoegaze elements that integrate with black metal. This is a big step up from their last album in 2021. And it's just so funny how so many haters are saying this is their number 1 album of the year or number 1 metal album of the year. And I'm just very happy that they're getting more praise. They deserve it. You know, Deafheaven, they definitely went beyond the boundaries of black metal, sounding like a post-black metal outfit with great black gaze elements into it. Because there are some times that it sounds very black gaze at the greatest of all black gaze of other bands. And I think the last track is just like the best black gaze track I've ever heard. And everything's great about this album. You hear second wave black metal, you hear some dark wave, shoegaze, post metal, and then you do hear some fucking atmospheric raw black metal. I can't express this album. I'm pretty sure you heard this album, and this is why it's in my number 6. Coming in at number 5 is a band from Fort Worth, Texas, and that is Dead Butterflies with their album Heat Death of the Universe. If you know me, you know that I'm a screamo, emo, post-hardcore kid at heart, and this band brings in a good amount of genres in here. Now, if you're new to this band, if you like emo, screamo, post-hardcore, hardcore screamo, maybe some like electronic keys at the same time, then you're gonna like this band. Because I do hear some Orchid, Motion City Soundtrack, Horse the Band, maybe a little bit of Hawthorne Heights, and they do have those post-rock elements that sound like the Appleseed Cast. And then there is shoegaze in this album, because the kind of shoegaze I hear is very drony. If you like the band Have a Nice Life, then you know what you're expecting to hear. Great fucking album, pumps me up, feels good. This is a no-skip album, and that is why it is in my number 5. Coming in at number 4 is a band from Los Angeles, California, and that is Agriculture with their album The Spiritual Sound. Yeah, once again, like I said, I love post-black metal more than black metal, and this album is everything. I can't explain it. It has multiple genres in here, not just the aesthetic black metal sound, but it does start off with like some mathcore or groove metal. You do hear the atmospheric sounds of black metal. And I feel like there's 2 different albums within this album, because I think it's more hardcore on the first side, but then on the second side, it's more experimental with like drone, shoegaze, post-hardcore, maybe some math rock in here as well. And their third track, Micah 515, is like a cool post-hardcore meets black gaze, because I do hear some like Fugazi or Touche Mora, and that sounds fucking epic. Although this is a good fucking album, no skips for me. I just love everything about it, and I think it's very awesome and creative that a band goes beyond their sound and expands it to come up with this kick-ass album, and that is why it's in my number 4. Alright, so next album is a split, and those two bands are Sadness and Abriction with their album The Last Forever. This album is just fucking terrific, and I think this is the best material that Sadness has ever created. Also, Abriction. There's 4 tracks of Sadness, 2 tracks of Abriction, although this album is a fucking experience. Both these bands are just beyond the experience to like witness. I feel like these elements combined together are like post-hardcore meets black gaze, emo post-hardcore, shoegaze, post-rock. Just so much good stuff in here. Like, it gets pretty fucking heavy and atmospheric in a post-rock way. And by that I mean, if you like This Will Destroy You with Another Language, or the self-titled album, or even their later material, you're going to enjoy this album. Also, it's very hard for me to explain this album because it's so emotional. I think this is more of a post-hardcore, post-rock shoegaze album. You do hear those intense moments of black metal with those tremolo riffs and outstanding blast beats. Although, this is a very hard album for me to describe because this is some very unique underground music, and that is why it's in my number 3. Coming in at number 2 is a band from Chicago, Illinois, and that is Pelican with their album Flickering Resonance. Yeah, so if you know me, I love post-rock, post-metal, and Pelican definitely stepped it up for this year of being one of my favorite post-rock, post-metal album of the year. And this album is just thunderous. And it's so cool that they labeled themselves as a post-emo stoner death gaze band, because when you think about it, it really does have all those elements into this album. And like I said, this album is very mighty, heroic. This is like a championship winning album. They bring the fucking thunder, the heaviness, and it's so fun in a positive way. There's a lot of bright times in this album, and then there's some times it does sound like some sludge, stoner, post-metal music, and the riffs are just so fucking good. They're so fucking catchy, and I'm pretty sure I embarrassed myself multiple times, or a lot of times this year, just driving and banging my head so hard. Like, I think all the instrumentation is very melodic. It's very fun. It's just a good feeling album that makes you want to do better in life. And I can't explain more about this album. It's so badass. There's sometimes it sounds like a sludgy metal album, but then you do hear those post-rock elements that sound like Explosion in the Sky, which is epic. One of my favorite post-rock bands of all times. And I can't get enough of this album. Like, this is a no-skip album, and that is why it comes in number 2 for me. All right, so my number 1 album of the year is a band from Tijuana, Mexico, and that is Habak with their album. Sorry, I don't know Spanish that well, but it's called Mil Orquídeas y Medio del Desierto. All right, cheers again to our number 1 albums of the year, and this band is just fantastic. This album just lifts you up. It makes me feel fucking good. I feel like no one's making music like this. This is signified as melodic crust punk in a way with screamo elements, but I do hear the screamo, post-hardcore, post-rock side to it. And that's what I love about music. I love post-hardcore and screamo and post-rock. It's a great combination. Although there are some like cool post-metal sludgy instrumentation, which makes it badass. And then they do have a track, it's like an interlude, all instrumentals, acoustic guitars, which sounds like the album Leaf, and I fucking love everything about that track. It does have some cool post-hardcore elements, which sounds like at the drive-in. Even, I feel like the singer, which is a girl, fantastic vocals. I hear a lot of Envy, Converge, Touche Amore, and I love all those bands. This album is just like badass to me. It's a championship winning album. It kicks ass so much, and I love the last track because to me that reminds me of like a post-hardcore, post-rock ending, because at the very end, maybe the last 2 to 3 minutes, you hear explosions in the sky with their track, The Only Moment We Were Alone. And that is just beyond epic to me, hearing that. This is a great fucking album. I just ordered it online. I should be getting this album pretty soon in vinyl. And yeah, this is my #1 album of the year. Great fucking album. Outstanding music. Congratulations, Habak. You're fucking doing it. And that's it for me. Those were my 10 best albums of 2025. Once again, please let me know what your favorite albums are, because I definitely don't want to miss out on good music. And I'm not too sure when I'm going to come out with the next video. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Please be sure to take care, be safe, and peace.